Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS news for Monday, November 4. Government is to receive $5 million to strengthen its financial capacity to respond effectively in the event of a natural disaster. On Friday, the Ministry of Finance signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, for the grant funding. Under the MOU, government and the USAID will collaborate to finalize a policy for the public financial management of natural disaster risk. It will also support Jamaica in some of its financial resilient products, including the National Disaster Fund, which was established in March this year. In addition, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the MOU will offset the cost to procure instruments that will fiscally protect the country in the event of a natural disaster.
And of course, the grant will support Jamaica as we seek to improve the governance of the funds that will be placed in our natural disaster fund.
USAID Assistant Administrator for Latin America and the Caribbean, John Barsa, says it will help to safeguard against losses during natural disasters.
Jamaica's exposure to natural disasters can put all of these accomplishments at risk. Be it from a hurricane, earthquake, or any other unplanned natural disaster. There's a fragility in terms of what we have here, and planning is essential.
Residents of St. Andrew now have access to a new Justice Center. It was constructed at a cost of approximately $20 million and opened last Friday. Funding was provided through an agreement between the government and the European Union. The center is equipped with offices for restorative justice and child diversion services.
We look forward to make you happy by the results that we hope to show, not only in the provision of better legal services, not only to ensure that justice is dispensed in a timely manner, and that all the people of Jamaica can access justice, but by the facilities that we're putting forward to make sure that the people of this country can not only access, but can have justice provided in attractive surroundings.
The minister was speaking on Friday at the opening of the Justice Center. This brings the total number of parish justice centers to 8. Meanwhile, St. Andrew will soon have another Justice Center. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck says demolition work has already started for the construction of the Justice Center in Stony Hill.
We hope that that can be opened within the next 2 years. But we needed to ensure that another Justice Center should be opened. And so when this one is opened, then it will be there.
The Stony Hill Justice Center will be built at a cost of $160 million. Work is also ongoing for the establishment of similar facilities in St. James, Spanish Town, Hanover, and Clarendon. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the tobacco control legislation will be laid in Parliament early next year. Dr. Tufton says Cabinet has already approved drafting instructions for the development of a comprehensive tobacco legislation. The ministry has been liaising with the Chief Parliamentary Council to have the latest draft of the bill settled and presented for tabling.
Their comprehensive tobacco control legislation is a priority, Mr. Speaker, and this has been included as a part of an Inter-American Development Bank loan for the general strengthening of health systems in Jamaica. As such, the IDB has engaged a local legal drafting expert to support the ministry's efforts in fast-tracking the passage of the legislation.
The Office of the Prime Minister is awaiting the Attorney General's Chamber's comments on a draft bill to make it mandatory for the names of both parents to be on every Jamaican's birth certificate. The draft bill, entitled An Act to Amend the Registration of Births and Death Act, was sent to the Registrar General's Department in March. Since then, the agency has reviewed the bill and made the requisite comments. Based on those consultations, the draft bill was sent to the Attorney General's Chambers for further review.
The bill is aiming to make it mandatory for A, the mother of a child born out of wedlock to disclose the identity of her child's father, and B, in circumstances where such a mother is unable to reveal the particulars of her child's father, provide a declaration to the registrar outlining the reasons for her inability to disclose his identity.
Dr. Tufton was speaking during last Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is appealing to parents and guardians to refrain from leaving minors home alone. His call comes amidst the death of 2 children in a fire in the community of Paradise, Norwood St. James, recently. Mr. Holness has reiterated the need for greater supervision and protection of children from this type of tragedy which can be prevented.
You can't light matches and candles in these houses. Get solar lamps. They last 8 hours fully charged, and you have 2 levels of brightness. And you can hang them in your house like a bulb. And they work and we give them away free.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the handover of keys to fire victims of 194 Bay Farm Road. That fire also resulted in the death of a 9-year-old boy.
I'm going to ask the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology to come into this constituency and distribute so that we don't have any more fires resulting in the death of children by virtue of either improper connection of electricity or open flames, such as candles and home sweet home lamps, which sometimes turn over.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.